Welcome to the Nickels and Dimes Finding Financial Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Kime, and I look forward each and every week to bringing you amazing content that will provide you with a financial education, will support you on your financial journey, and most importantly, help you to find financial freedom. I hope you enjoy today's episode. Welcome to the Nickels and Dimes Finding Financial Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Kime, and today I want to have a conversation with you. Look, lately I've been posting a lot on social media and having conversations with clients, former clients, and new people I meet, asking if they have an old 401k, and then showing them different kind of options in how they could move that money to make sure that it's not only protected, but it continues to grow for them. Why is that so important? Well, there's a lot of things you leave on the table when you walk away from a 401k at your job. You know, for me, I did this a couple of times during my career. I was laid off. Well, my focus was on getting another job, setting up my unemployment, making sure that I was adjusting my budget so I could cover all of my expenses. And I never stopped to think about moving my old 401k. And then I would circle back, a year or 2 years down the road. It would dawn on me, or sometimes just a few months when I was setting up my new 401k. And one of the times I rolled an old 401k into my new one. And so I had that money in there. It was continuing to grow for me. And there was another situation where I actually decided to cash out my 401k. So I paid the taxes, I paid the penalty, and I walked away with the money, which means that money got spent. And that's usually the case. And so, look, in that kind of a situation, you are completely starting over. You've just gotten rid of that, at least that portion of your retirement plan. And for a lot of people, 100% of your retirement plan when you cash it out, because that's the only place you were saving or investing. So it's really important to understand the different kind of options you have in moving an old 401k and having that money continue to work for you to help you reach your goals. And that's what I want to talk about today. There is a very specific product called a Fixed Index Annuity that I use for a good portion of my clients when it comes to rolling over a 401k. And so I want to take some time and talk about that product and the kinds of things that it provides for you when you're doing something like that. So let's kind of jump in and talk about, why do people leave those 401ks behind? Well, like I said, there's so much else going on. Look, if you left a job because you were laid off, I already talked about my experience. I was looking for that next job. I was trying to get my unemployment filed. I was trying to manage my money, all of those things. And it just didn't dawn on me right off the bat. The other thing could be that you leave a job because you have another job. And so you jump into that job and you just get going, learning your new position, working, and you don't think about it either. And I've talked to people who said, I might have had a 401k at my last job. I'm not sure. They don't even remember that they set it up. And so we do the research, we go back and find out, and sometimes they have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 there. It may not be, a huge life-changing amount of money, but believe me, when that money is put in the right place and time is on your side, that can become a nice chunk of your retirement plan down the road. So those are the kind of things, like, people just forget about them. But let me tell you, when I was in corporate America, I am a pen nerd, a pen princess. I like a certain kind of pen. And the pens I like are more expensive than are normally in the budget of the companies I worked for to buy. So I would buy my own pens. And you can bet it mattered so much to me what kind of pen I used that when I left a job, my pens went with me. The pictures of my son off my desk went with me. My little tchotchkes on my desk went with me. My snacks in my drawer went with me. My 401k did not a couple times. So I just left that money sitting there and I moved on to the next thing. But let's talk about what can happen. The problem with leaving behind those 401ks. Well, there's limited investment options. A lot of times when you are no longer an active employee, your 401k account gets shifted over somewhere and you might not have a lot of investment options in that area. Also, it's not going to be paid the same kind of attention. It's with a company that manages 401ks, but they're not actively working on yours because you're not actively working for that company any longer. So you could face things like possible higher fees, definitely lack of control over where your money is at. And if truth be told, when I would got 401k paperwork put in front of me by my employers, it said, you can put up to this percent in and we'll match this percent. And then do you want low, mid, or high risk investments? That was it. They didn't tell me how it worked. They didn't tell me how often I could adjust it. They didn't give me any kind of scenario based on how many years I had to save, what that could look like. I just filled out a form and there we went. So it makes sense that a lot of people forget they even have it, right? So then comes in those fees, that lack of control. But most importantly, you're now disconnected from your overall retirement strategy. A lot of people are only saving in a 401k, and now they've walked away from it. They left it behind. They don't even remember that it exists in many cases. And so you've left that just sitting over there. So now let's talk about why a rollover makes sense. Well, when you roll that money into an account that is being managed, is set up to help reach your goals long term, you gain greater investment choices and potentially lower fees. When you sit with a financial professional to talk about your 401k, number one, they should be educating you on what your options are, all of the options. They should be telling you how those options work. They should be showing you projections, hypothetical projections for what that could create for you in the future, and making sure that they explain how that fits within your goals. So at the end of the day, you remain in the driver's seat, making educated decisions with your money. And I have said on a previous episode, I don't remember which one it was, but I know I talked specifically about you have the right to interview your financial professional. If they are not providing you with an education, if they are not answering the questions you have and explaining to you how the products that they are proposing for you, the options they're showing you help you meet your goals, then you need to interview another financial professional, because that is what, as a consumer and as a client, you deserve to get in that relationship. The other thing that moving a rollover can do is consolidate retirement funds, make it a little bit easier to track things, and provide you with improved strategy alignment. Now, I mentioned one of the times I had an old 401k, I moved it into my current 401k. What I know now is there are some really great options to actually roll that money into a different type of retirement account and have it work for you. And then if you choose to continue funding a 401k or your new employer, you can. But what you've done is you've given yourself more diversity in that retirement plan. And we'll dig into that a little bit more here in a couple minutes. The other thing is when you move it from a qualified retirement account, which a 401k is, into another qualified retirement account like an IRA, which could include an annuity, and there's different types of annuities, you're avoiding the tax and penalties that come along with cashing that money out. So you're doing what's called a 1035 exchange. You're moving the money from a retirement account to a retirement account. Therefore, you don't have any of those things hit you, and your full balance moves and continues growing for you. So let's talk a little bit about fixed index annuities specifically. That is a type of individual retirement account that I use for a good portion of my clients because it provides the ability to continue growing your money and principal protection or downside market protection. So, what are those things? Number one, growth potential. That's just the potential for you to earn more money on your money, right? Now, none of us have a crystal ball. I can't guarantee you it's going to be this, that, or the other, but I can show you projections based on historical actuals to give you a pretty good idea of what's possible in the different options that I show. And I can kind of give you that realistic, that realistic view of what you might be able to expect. But the one thing I can guarantee with a fixed index annuity is that principal growth protection or downside market protection, which means you will never lose a penny of your money. Now, remember, in your 401k, that money was in the market and you'd get your statement, you'd see your account balance went up or down. In a fixed index annuity, there is no down. You cannot lose any of your money, which is the most important factor, that security that product gives you. So if you move an old 401k into a fixed index annuity and then you start the new one at your employer because they give you a match, so why not take that free money they're offering? Well, then that money is in the market, right? So you're still exposed to risk there, but your old 401k is now protected. So you've just created diversification in your retirement portfolio. That is vitally important. That is something I'm always looking to do with clients is how can we grow your money as much as possible, but do it with protection in place? How can we avoid losses as much as possible? And then we also talk about how can we avoid taxes. In this particular situation, this is a tax deferred option. So just like your 401k is tax deferred, so is a fixed index annuity. But all of those different components come into an overall financial plan. But let's stay focused where we're talking at today. So we talked about growth potential and downside protection. Fixed index annuities provide that opportunity to capture the market gains up to a cap if there's a cap. So what is a cap? A cap is kind of the ceiling. You can earn up to 15% if there's a cap, or 23% or 10%, whatever that cap is. But there are also fixed index annuities that have no caps. So again, looking at your overall picture, your overall wealth plan or retirement plan, your financial professional should be outlining all of those components and what they're recommending and why, so that you can make that decision. But again, even if there is a cap or isn't a cap, you are getting that protection against the market losses. So you've already canceled out one of the risks, or the number one risk that exists, the opportunity to lose money. That does not exist in a fixed index annuity. The other thing is, like I already said, your financial professional should be showing you different options, or showing your options based on diversifying your portfolio or meeting your financial goals, whatever that is. So they should be talking to you about, how does that fixed index annuity fit into your plan? How does it compare to other retirement vehicles? So traditional IRAs or variable annuities. What do all those things look like? And then based on your goals, based on your needs, you then understand what direction you personally want to go in. Again, equipping you with the tools to make an educated decision. So now I want to talk about some of the benefits in fixed index annuities. And the first one is tax deferred growth. And the advantage of that is it helps grow your retirement savings more efficiently. Efficiently. All of that money is in there growing. Now, in the future, yes, when you start to access that money in retirement, you're going to pay taxes on the piece that you pull out, just like you pay taxes on the income that you get for your employer. That will be your future income. You'll pay taxes just on the income that you take out of that account in retirement. In the meantime, though, your entire balance is in there growing based on whatever's happening in the indexes that your money was assigned to. So how are those indexes performing, and how is it growing your money? And that's something that It in an illustration is what we call it. When you sit with a financial professional, they'll talk to you about those different options and they'll show you these illustrations to show those hypothetical numbers of what your money could do over time. And they'll show you different options of that so you can kind of decide where you want to be. Now, the second benefit of a fixed index annuity is an income for life, basically setting yourself up for a personal pension. So, lifetime income options that fixed index annuities provide create a predictable, guaranteed income stream in retirement. And how important is that? One of the biggest concerns my clients have is one, can I afford to retire? And how long can I live in retirement? Oh, wait, there's another one. What quality of life am I going to have in retirement? Am I going to have to live a life of less than I do now to be able to retire? So those are really important things. So knowing that predictable guaranteed income stream is vitally important in planning on when to retire, what your income's going to be in retirement, what kind of life you're going to have in retirement. Can you travel? Can you do all the things that you want to do? What are your goals for that? And then in addition to that, that income can help cover essential expenses, reduce reliance on market returns, things like that. You have the ability when you build a diversified retirement plan to pull different levers in retirement based on what makes the most sense at the right time. That's why having that relationship with a financial professional that educates you and explains things thoroughly to you is important while you're growing your money and then also in retirement when you need to start accessing your money. Okay. Benefit number 3, that market downturn protection that we already talked about. It's so important to stabilize as much as you can your savings over time. So as you're nearing retirement, especially, fixed index annuities can protect against sudden downturns. So let's think about 2008. The housing crash, the market dropped almost 40%. If you were looking to retire within 5 years and you lost your entire retirement saving was in your 401k and you lost 40% of that, you probably weren't retiring in the same time frame that you planned on originally. Because when you take that kind of loss, you've got to stay in the market, leave all your money in there to capture the gains to get back to where you wanted to be. Fixed index annuities, as you're nearing retirement, can protect against those losses. So you know, as you're looking at your statements, how much money is there and it's going to continue to be there. So it's really important to have that protection against those losses because a loss at the wrong time can flip your entire retirement plan on its head. And I tell people all the time, I think it's one of the big reasons that we see a lot of people have to continue working into retirement. Now, some people choose to, or some people make a shift and kind of chase a passion project that produces some income for them in retirement. But I'm talking about the people that don't have a choice. They have to continue working at some level just to make ends meet in retirement. And the goal of retirement is to have that financial freedom for it to look like whatever you want it to look like. Benefit number 4 are the death benefits for legacy planning. I already touched on the fact that fixed index annuities work like a life insurance product. If at the time you pass away, you still have $100,000 or $500,000 in that fixed index annuity, that money is going to pass to your beneficiaries just like the death benefit on a life insurance. And so I have a lot of people say, oh, I've heard horrible things about annuities. When somebody dies, the money's gone. Your family never gets it. That is not the case with this fixed index annuities. That's not the case with most annuities today. Now, I will tell you, my parents do have a couple small annuities that actually don't have any cash value in them. So these annuities spit off a little bit of income for them here and there, but there's no cash balance inside the annuity to pass to a beneficiary. Those are the kind of annuities people are talking about. But what I'm talking about, a fixed index annuity specifically, that money is going to pass on to your beneficiaries. Whatever the balance that is left after you've been in retirement for a period of time, that will move on without any issues, like a life insurance benefit. And then benefit number 5, customizable features. You have the ability to add different kinds of riders, flexible withdrawal options, and other things like that to suit your individual retirement needs or wants. And so when you meet with a financial professional, if you're looking at a fixed index annuity, you need to make sure you ask those kind of questions, so you understand, because not every annuity, it's not a one size fits all. There's dozens and dozens of annuities out there. Some of them are built for accumulation. Some of them are built for lifetime income. Some of them you can add confinement riders to in case you were ever placed in a nursing home, or other kind of riders that are based on excuse me, based on your future health. So you need to understand what all those riders are, and you can make sure that that fixed index annuity is tailor-made for your goals in the long term. Now I want to spend some time talking a little bit more about some of the misconceptions. One of them is that annuities are expensive. With fixed index annuities, they are often the most cost-effective annuity product that you can get, much more cost-effective than most people think, especially when you don't have that market exposure, that downside market exposure that we talked about. You have protection against that. And it's not a protection that you have to pay for. So all of the fixed index annuities that I personally work with have no ongoing fee. There's no fee to pay to participate in that. Now, if you want to add riders to it, if you want to, get the potential for higher returns and stuff like that, there could be a small fee that you'd pay for that, but that's something that's disclosed and explained to you. And there's a lot of factors going to go into that. What are you looking at adding to this? Do you want more performance in it? Okay, well, here are the costs that go along with that, and here are the potential benefits of participating in those areas where there is an additional cost. But you don't have to pay those fees to get those things unless you want them. So you have the ability to move into these products, and there's no ongoing fees involved. Now, misconception number 2, I'll lose access to my money. Now, listen, when you put your money into an annuity, it is locked into that product for the period of time within that annuity. So let's say it's a 10-year annuity. Your money is put into that annuity similar to a 401k. You don't have access to it until 59 and a half in your 401k. Same with the fixed index annuity. You don't have access till 59 and a half without taxes and penalties. Also within a fixed index annuity are surrender periods. If you wanted to pull out your entire amount within that 10 years, each year there is a decreasing surrender penalty percentage that you would pay to do that. So it's very important that you understand those parameters when you meet with a financial professional, and make sure that the fixed index annuity is the right product for you. If you're talking about moving 100% of all the savings you have into something like that, it's probably not the best decision. And let's be honest, it wouldn't measure up in an underwriting review, because it would lock up your money unless you paid a surrender charge. So that's part of the conversation you should be having with your financial professional, is that there are surrender penalties if you were to pull out more than the free withdrawal amount. So let me touch on that for a second. Even though your money as a whole is in this annuity for a period of time with decreasing surrender charges, there is a percent, depending on the annuity, it's different with all of them, that you can have access to without paying surrender charges. So some of the ones I work with have a 7%, some have a 10%. It just depends on the product. But what that does is allow you to access that percentage of your money every single year without the surrender charges. Now, if you're not 59 and a half, you would still pay the taxes and penalties just like in a 401k to access that allowed percent, that free withdrawal percent. So misconception number 3, fixed index annuities are only for older retirees. That is absolutely not true. Fixed index annuities can benefit all ranges of ages, especially those who are planning ahead for a stable retirement income. There are parameters as financial professionals we look at when recommending a fixed index annuity, but I definitely put fixed index annuities in place for clients who are in their 30s, in their 40s. We're protecting a chunk of their overall retirement plan while they continue to grow and invest money in other places. So that really comes down to having that full picture look at somebody's retirement plan. It's why with our company, we do that full financial needs analysis. So we know everything you have in place, most importantly, what your goals are, and then we can help give advice or show options that fit best to fill any gaps you have, or when there's a change of employment, things like that, and make sure we set up the same thing for you. But fixed index annuities are not only for older retirees. I have a lot of young clients that utilize them as a really stable portion of their wealth plan. So I want to bounce back over to 401ks for a minute and just kind of talk about evaluating your old 401k options when you're looking to move one. Some of the steps or thoughts you need to go through in deciding what's the best thing to do. Do you roll it over? Do you cash it out? What kind of product do you roll it over into? Again, that's really going to depend on what your financial goals are. So, what are the different steps to determining what direction you want to go with that old 401k? What's right for you? It's really important that you work with a financial professional to help identify the best rollover strategy for that money. Again, they should be showing you various options that are available, talking about your overall wealth plan, how those things fit into it, and giving you the details of the different options they show you so that you can make a confident decision. They can, if you decide to go in the direction of a fixed index annuity, they can help you decide which kind of fixed index annuities. If you're within a couple of years of retirement and you're going to turn on income as soon as you retire, you may want to move that money into a fixed index annuity with lifetime income. If you're 10, 15, 20, whatever years out from retirement and time is still on your side, they may recommend putting that into an accumulation focused fixed index annuity and help grow your money as much as possible, and then shift it over to a lifetime income annuity once you're closer to that retirement age. So having that complete conversation with a licensed financial professional is important. And they can also help assist you in aligning your retirement vision, making sure whatever direction you're looking at going with that old 401k fits in with your wealth plan or your retirement plan as a whole. So I want you to think about what your retirement vision is, and based on what we've talked about today, could a fixed index annuity possibly help you to achieve that? And then have a conversation with a professional that can show you what that might look like so you can make that decision, that definitive decision. So, just recapping a couple things today. Like I said, I've been talking about 401ks to everybody recently, old 401ks specifically, and moving that money someplace that it can continue working for you to the best of its ability. There's so much going on in the market. It's an election year. People are getting laid off. People are changing jobs. People are leaving jobs to start businesses. Make sure you're taking your money with you. Think about the kind of stability you want to have in place wherever you decide to move that money. And that's where a fixed index annuity can offer really great options for a secure retirement you can be confident in. I want to challenge you guys to reach out, schedule a consultation, ask questions, reach out to me directly. I would love to give you information. My job is to show people that I meet with the options that are available. Their job is to make a decision. So if you don't already have a financial professional, please reach out. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And if you do have a financial professional, sit down with them and ask the questions and make sure that you're moving your money to a place that long term it's going to serve you as much as possible. I want to thank you guys for being here with me today. I hope that this episode gave you some information that could be beneficial, whether it's something you need right now, something in the future, or you know somebody who has an old 401k, recently got laid off from a job or something like that. Share this episode, please, with them so that they can get this information. My number one goal is always to provide information that helps people make better long-term financial decisions. So I want to thank you again for joining me today on the Nickels and Dimes podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Kime, and I look forward to continuing to bring you amazing content each week that will educate you, support you, and most of all, help you to find financial freedom. I look forward to having you listen each week. And until next time, take care and stay safe.